welcome to Pipe Bomb Power Hour.
Pipe Bomb Power Hour.
Yeah. We keep up the trend of terrorism.
This entire chapter is terrorism.
Oh, you left the door open, by the way.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah. No, we went over this last time. When everyone was in the room and screaming, I'm so hot, I'm hot, I'm hot. I'm like,
Oh yeah, here's an update for the fucking viewers. The two dumbasses that are usually here are too gay to visit us today, so.
That's true.
Your picture fell.
I know. I'll put it back up. They always be falling. The bitches be shopping. You know?
Shishibone City was, as far as provincial cities went, rather behind the times. And welcome to the party, pal. Okinomiya, recessed in the mountains, was even more remote. With a little change between the seasons, all that was left was the tepid passage of time. It made for a rather drab town. There were no tourist attractions or local delicacies. Without even a strong regional industry, it was simply dull. Just looking at the monotonous and peaceful townscape, it was hard to catch a glimpse of the radical resistance of the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. The atmosphere of boredom didn't hint of the Okinomiya police station being on the front lines of the dam conflict, nor of the numerous incidents I'd heard about at the prefectural headquarters. Good morning.
Oh.
Good morning. Are you here to pay a fine?
I thought it was supposed to be Oishi. I was like, what?
You think Oishi's manning the front desk?
Good morning.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mm-hmm.
I love Oishi.
No, I have an appointment with
Motodai-san
from the Public Safety Division. Please tell him it's Akasaka.
My apologies. Please wait a minute.
Yeah, you dumb bitch. The clerk, who thought I was here for a parking violation at first glance, after fumbling with the unfamiliar extension number, told the person on the line they had a visitor.
Welcome. Akasaka-san, was it? It must have been tiring traveling out all this way. Sorry to have to do this here. I tried to reserve a reception room, you see, but the counselor suddenly woke up and chased me out.
I would hesitate to call where we were a conference room, as it was very small and cluttered. The cramped space was packed with lockers. I had the impression that it was more of a change room that doubled as one for smoking. Listening to his crude chortles, I didn't get much of a feeling that Motodai, who was the head of the local public safety division, was much of an intellectual. But I knew that, in exchange, he had both experience and absolute confidence in his instincts. I apologize for interrupting you during such a busy time. I'm Akasaka from the Metropolitan Police Department. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Motodai from the Public Safety Division. Nice to meet you. I was threatened by Sankai from the prefectural gangbusters to be generous with my cooperation.
Gangbusters? You mean the Prefectural Crime Prevention Division?
You see, we're treating the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance as an extension of the local Yakuza. You'd have to be a newbie to think that they're just a residential protest group.
They said that at the prefectural office too, that the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance was linked to the local mob. If I recall correctly, the adopted son of somebody influential was a lieutenant in that gang.
It's the other way around. The complete opposite. The Yakuza put up a protest group as a front to justify their actions. Just think of it like that. Completely the other way around.
Motodai was just about rolling with laughter. This was slightly different than the info given to me at the prefectural office, but somebody embedded locally would be more knowledgeable. While we were talking, occasionally some people who seemed to be detectives would come in and change. One of those individuals, noticing Motodai's guffaws, came to us.
Oishi!
You ready?
Is this Oishi's theme? Did you know that Ryukishi invented jazz music before Persona 5?
It's true, it's true. You can go read on that on his blog.
Oh my god, is this the Persona 5 Royal soundtrack? Dude! Ooh! Oishi's groovy.
I was wondering what you guys were talking about.
Oishi. Motodai.
Ah, good, John. Perfect timing. Why don't you join us? This here's Inspector Akasaka, who came all the way from the Tokyo Police Department. This is smart.
Can you send me this track? This track is unironically bussin'.
I think this is called Dancer 7.
Can you find me the not MIDI version?
There's not a not MIDI version. What are you talking about?
Can you send me the less compressed MIDI version? Why is the Oishi theme so fucking good? It's just like Keenan, dude.
It's just Keenan. It's just like Keenan.
I miss that guy.
Can't believe we couldn't see Keenan. I can't believe Brooklyn and Dylan did that to Keenan, man.
I know. They're stupid assholes and I hate them.
Kura-chan.
Just intimately stared at you for a little bit. We read the Kura-chan bit. We're at an inspect.
I know.
Okay. Oh, you had to zone me back in. Appreciate it. Oh, that's Akasaka.
Zoned in yet?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be Oishi. Like, oh, an inspector.
An inspector? I'm still a rookie.
That's
Keiichi.
Keiichi. Yeah, I'm like, that's not Akasaka.
Hey, welcome to the party, pal. An inspector. I'm still a rookie. My name is Akasaka. Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. It must be nice to be so fresh-faced. Did they hire you this year, new fool?
I couldn't help.
Yes.
Welcome to the party, pal. I couldn't help but think I was being ridiculed, so I only responded with a forced smile. I could tell that this new person was like Motodai, the type who had confidence in their instincts and experience. I really didn't like those types of people.
Let me introduce you, Akasaka-san. This is Oishi-kun from our investigative department. Regarding the S-file you were asking about, he's familiar with it.
S-file?
Yes, for Sonozaki. If something is an S-file, it means it has something to do with the Sonozaki family. It's something of a code name.
Sonozaki? Come to think of it, I remembered when I was poring over the documents at headquarters, there were quite a few people with the last name Sonozaki popping up.
It's Bruce.
Okay.
It's Akasaka.
Look at the body, pal. If I remember right, there's a Sonozaki who's one of the executives of the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. I'm pretty sure they're the treasurer. The two of them were surprised when I rattled off what post that Sonozaki held. After a moment, both of them erupted into laughter.
No, Akasaka-san, was it? No, you're quite a studious one. Could it be you've memorized all of the central figures in the Alliance? No.
I wouldn't say memorized, exactly. But I've at least read the list of the Onigafuchi Fuck.
It's because it's getting later. The later it gets, the more I turn into Keiichi.
Welcome to Body Pal. I wouldn't say memorized exactly. but I've at least read the list of Onigafuchi Defense Alliance executives.
No fool. That kind of went weird. No fool. Then who are the president and vice president?
Yeah, the president is the mayor of Hinamizawa, Kei Kimiyoshi. The vice president is the priest of the local shrines, Furude. Look on the party, pal. The treasurer is O, Sonozaki. The auditor is
Makino.
Makino. The liaison is Y Kimiyoshi. The PR head is Y Sonozaki.
No, Sonozaki-san, you're pretty cool.
Sonozaki-san?
Shit. No, Akasaka-san, you're pretty good. The place sucks, but do you want to work here? You're just the type we're looking for, Nufufu. By the way, Yoshio Sonozaki is the head of the youth department. So close, the head of the public relations is actually Totoyoshi Sonozaki. The problem with Oishi voice is that as I'm doing it, saliva accumulates in my mouth and it makes it harder to talk.
He starts drowning out, bro. Feeling like I wasn't being complimented at all, I started settling into an uncomfortable mood. However,
Bruce,
speak to me,
becoming
Bruce.
more and more aware.
Bruce, I love you. Come back to me.
Welcome to party, pal. However, I was becoming more and more aware that I was the weakest link in this investigation, so I just had to bear with it. I didn't mean for that feeling to show up on my face, but the crafty detectives didn't let that slip by.
No, I didn't mean to make fun of you. To make up for why don't I show you around the village?
For somebody with no feel for the area like me, it would be a great help.
Dinky idiot.
In the end, the Onigafuchi alliance is nothing more than an alias Hinamizawa is using to deal with the outside world. I think getting to know the village will speed up your work. How about it?
The residential movement, in other words, held influence over the whole region.
I got it back. I was using my mouth too much. Because I just kind of don't use my mouth at all when I do Bruce. I figured it back out.
So the leader of the movement was the leader of that influence. Just like that, the thought process in the region will become the overall personality of the movement. Just like Oishi had said, in order to learn what they were really like, this regional force behind the dam protests, getting to know the village was the quickest way. If you would. Nodding back without skipping a beat, Oishi laughed in satisfaction and stood up.
Love that guy.
If I took the information I learned at the prefectural office and from Motodaya to heart, if my position was exposed, my personal safety was at risk. The opponent was an extremist group that had no qualms about using threats of violence against somebody. If my personal info was leaked, it wouldn't be hard to imagine I'd be in danger, whether on the job or not. Thinking that, I felt a little nervous.
These guys are quick to remember faces, so if you're seen with me, they'll probably do a lot to hinder your work. This might be a little cliche, but put these on.
Oishi handed me an incredibly suspicious disguise. Comprised of a baseball cap, sunglasses, and a mask. I didn't want to get all hot and stuffy, but Oishi's warning was probably right on the money. Considering that, I put them on with appreciation. I looked so suspicious that Oishi had to smile dryly.
Riley, fuck.
How much did I tell you again? Let's see.
To the part where you were talking about how these 3 ancient families control the village. The Onigafuchi Defense Alliance was the same as the village of Hinamizawa itself. Meaning there was a direct correlation between being an executive in the alliance and being a leader in the village, as Motodai had told me a short time ago. If the village was ruled by 3 ancient families, then it would mean the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance was ruled by those 3 same families.
Same 3 families.
Yeah, close enough.
What did the documents at the prefectural office say about the leader of the Defense Alliance or whatnot?
The documents I was using were classified. If I responded to Oishi's question, it'd be a breach of security. However, most likely, this man, I judged, was more well versed in the situation than any of the documents at the prefectural police department, so I decided to answer him. That the president of the alliance is the current mayor of the village,
Kiichiro.
Kiichiro Kimiyoshi. Oishi, upon hearing that, let out a small chuckle.
Oh,
For him to ask like that, and to laugh at the answer as it was recorded in the documents, meant that wasn't the case in reality.
so then. That means us-
No. So then. Party pal. That means there's somebody else other than Kimiyoshi behind the scenes, contrary to what the prefectural office thinks, or rather, what is commonly known.
No fool. Old man Kimiyoshi is nothing more than a figurehead. In the first place, the post of mayor in that village is nothing more than ceremonial.
In other words, there's something else. There's something else in charge of both the alliance and the village. Would that be the three families we just talked about?
Well, I'll explain that part right now, no foo-foo.
All of a sudden, with a thunk, the car suddenly lurched. The paved road had given way to gravel.
To a gravel one.
Same shit.
The paved road had given way to a gravel one. At the same time, the scenery outside the window changed.
The Hinamizawa Dam project must be withdrawn. Overthrow the shameless puppet of a governor. The dam will submerge the natural beauty of Hinamizawa. Protect the village from the unethical dam. Fear the wrath of Oyashiro-sama's curse. Demolish the dam. Those most involved must go away. The construction office must respond. The office manager of X must negotiate with us.
Signs and banners crowded the roadside. Even reading the brush-scrawled words was daunting. It was as though where the road changed was a border with a different country. At that moment, I was startled by the car suddenly braking. Looking ahead, a barricade had been erected. About 5 or 6 protesters wearing masks and helmets to hide their faces were blocking the road, yelling at us angrily to stop. What is this? A checkpoint?
These guys never learn.
Oishi snorted as he rolled down the window and leaned out.
Hey, you guys, you can't be blocking the road like this here.
As Oishi glared at them with a malicious laugh, they visibly faltered.
Clear the way. We can't get by like this, no foo-foo.
Who would have thought it was Oishi's car? That panicked thought seemed to make them lose their presence of mind.
Nah, if we had known it was your car, Detective Oishi, we wouldn't have been so rude. Detective, what happened to your usual car? Is it in for maintenance? Something like that. I just can't get used to this car they loaded me. No foo-foo.
Judging from their brief conversation, I could tell that they were familiar with the license plate of the car Oishi normally used. In other words, if they knew the car that belonged to the police, they would have hidden the barricade. What they were doing was obviously obstruction of traffic. A blatant crime.
Who's that suspicious guy? You, could you show us your face?
Dubious. The man glared at me menacingly. Wearing a mask and sunglasses made to look particularly dubious. Would not showing my face get me into some unnecessary trouble? I turned to Oishi to see what I should do.
Give him a break. He's still a shy little rookie, no fool. We just wanted to make sure he wasn't anybody suspicious. Hinamizawa has been in a bit of a stir as of late. Have you looked at yourselves in the mirror? That mask you're wearing is way more suspicious.
The men in Oishi continued to talk like that, feigning smiles at one another. However, from the beginning to the end, I couldn't get over the feeling I was sitting on a powder keg.
As the number of trucks illegally dumping still not decrease. It's a real hassle dealing with it all the time. If the police could understand and cooperate, it would really help.
During that conversation, the barricade was moved, leaving a gap wide enough for a single car to get through. Oishi lightly honked the horn once and began to roll the car forward. I could see the men's antagonistic glares at the back of the car in the rearview mirror. What was that just now? Blocking a public road like that?
Of course, it's a crime. Still, if you could fall talked over that, it'll never end. No fool. These guys, you see, claim to be... Those guys, see, claim there's an infestation of trucks illegally dumping in the village. The story goes that in order to stop that, they're halting suspicious vehicles for inspection.
Illegally dumping? Like corrupt contractors just tossing industrial waste away?
The line of argument is that if the police aren't going to do anything about it, they'll take matters into their own hands. Well, the industrial waste is just something they're doing by themselves anyways.
By themselves?
They have a pretty good strategy, you see. In order to hinder construction, they've spread industrial waste all over by the dam site. Then, blaming it on corrupt contractors, they start instituting these inspections. There they stop every construction vehicle coming through and interfering with them as much as possible.
So then, it's one of the methods the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance is using.
Was that inspection just now? This car's license plate has probably been recorded. It shouldn't get stopped from here on out. Those guys know very well not to get me angry. See, the rumor is that if they figure a car is related to the construction in some way, not only would there be checkpoints stopping it at every turn, but they'd be throwing rocks and planting road spikes as well. It's best you be careful. It's best you be careful so you're not identified. If they know you're from the public safety, who knows what you'll suffer through.
Oishi is pissed. Oishi was acting like we were talking about something fun, but for me it was no laughing matter. It almost feels like we've wandered into a civil war in the Middle East.
No, that's a good way of putting it. It's pretty much just what you said.
Oishi turned to me with a grin and menacing laugh.
You see, this here's a war zone.
The car slowed down a bit as it went down a narrow road through some farmland.
You see that house in the forest over there? That's an antiquated one.
Looking at where Oishi was pointing, there certainly was an old, traditionally designed house.
That belongs to the mayor, old man Kimiyoshi. You could say it belongs to the main Kimiyoshi house as well. There are a lot of branches, but they'd be one of the three families.
The three families. The ancient families that control Hinamizawa.
That's right. And one of the others is the Farude family. The house doesn't even have a single branch, All that's left of is the head priest family. Right over there, there's a shrine. He is the priest there. By the way, the Defense Alliance's office is on the grounds of that shrine.
The office of the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. If these guys were the enemy, that would make the shrine their stronghold. Can we go look over there?
The shrine is for Uday family private property, you see. Being police, we can't set foot there without a warrant. See, they've got a member of the threat with ties to the village backing them up. Basically, being the police has its strengths and weaknesses. Well, even when we talk about the three families, that's something for a long time ago. Way back when, those three families used to hold councils to decide things about the village.
Meaning, it's different now.
You've got a pretty good nose. That's what I expect from an academic.
The car braked to a halt with a squeal. Ahead of where we stopped were several signs. Private property beyond, no trespassing. Beware poisonous snakes, danger, turn back. Intruders will be charged with an entry fee of 1 million yen. Signs were erected there with things like that written on them. The road was separated from the forest by a chain link. The road was separated from the forest by a chain link fence wrapped in barbed wire.
Since this is private property, this is as far as we go. There's several surveillance cameras set up further in. Saying that we just got lost won't work on these guys.
They're beyond here, right? The people currently controlling Hinamizawa and the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance were neither the Kimiyoshi family nor the Furude family, but the last of the three.
Yeah. Beyond here is one of the three families, the Sonozaki family. They're the ones controlling Hinamizawa from the shadows.
Among the list of executives recorded in the documents, the number of people with the last names from the three families was quite high. Of course, Sonozaki was no exception. However, at the top was the Kimiyoshi family. If the Kimiyoshi family seemed to be in charge, the rulers behind the scenes were the Sonozaki family. This double-layered structure implicitly told me that this village had both a light and a dark side.
The current head of the Sonozaki family is an old lady named Oryo. She has enough clout that you could call her Empress Sonozaki. Be careful, she's no small fry.
Clout.
She's enough of a VIP that even the mayor of the city has to bow before her. Well, even in Hinamizawa and the surrounding area, the relatives amount to a block of several thousand votes. No politician could show disrespect for that. No foo-foo.
Stop yawning.
Why? I'm fucking tired. What do you want from me? In other
Stop being
words,
tired.
that would make her the actual leader of the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance, right?
You've got it.
With those words, Oishi pulled out a well-worn cigarette box. The suspected kidnapping of the minister's grandchildren and subsequent threats.
Grandchild. Only one.
Grandchild and the subsequent threats. Were these part of the hidden plot by the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance in order to have the Hinamizawa Dam project cancelled?
You came all this way from Tokyo to investigate this, didn't you?
Huh. Yeah. That's right. Something the matter.
Oh, then. Is it related to that direct appeal incident with Minister Inugai? And if that's the case, then public safety has them marked on a watch list. Something like that? No.
Having you guessed that so quickly makes this easy. While exhaling out cigarette smoke, Oishi smiled broadly, like I'd just pulled a good one on him. Or so I thought. His smile disappeared suddenly.
That's a lie, isn't it?
Huh.
I mean, the direct appeal putting them on a watch list. That's a lie, isn't it?
Oishi knew there was no way that a Tokyo HQ would dispatch an investigator over something as minor as a direct appeal. If they were to dispatch someone, it had to be for a more dire reason. He had figured out that much. I thought of myself as the type of person who doesn't let things show on their face. In front of his watchful gaze, however, I felt what I was thinking was completely laid bare. Keiichi? Oishi silently lit another cigarette, as if waiting for me to interject during this awkward pause. I see. So this was a veteran detective's way of getting someone to spill information. But as long as I realized this, there would be nothing more. If I didn't open my mouth, I wouldn't have to lose anything. All I had to do was stare out this window and enjoy the scenery until Oishi gave up.
No, you really are bad at hiding things, you know. Being so young and honest isn't so bad.
Oishi smirked as he twisted out his third cigarette, while I tried not to let him notice that I had yielded completely. At first, I thought I had won, but at the very least, Oishi had discerned that I was hiding something. Meaning that I might have ended up marching to his tune. Oishi started up the engine once again and began to move the car.
If you had just been honest with me, I thought I might have been able to help you.
How would you help? If the cat was out of the bag, I might as well use it to catch some mice.
Well, this depends on what we're talking about. But I might be able to set you up with someone who's knowledgeable about the goings-on in Hinamizawa.
An informant.
No, I see. Is that what you call it?
Why are you interested in my case, Oishi-san?
Well, I'm the same as you. Isn't it our business to know things?
Being able to meet with Oishi's informant was an extremely compelling opportunity. We were looking to recruit somebody familiar with the area to collaborate with for intelligence. In the end, there was no better method for finding people than asking. We were always taught, however, that the rank and file police were no better than monkeys. Unlike us, they were careless with confidential cases. We looked down on them like they'd run their mouth off in a drunken stupor. Oishi was an outlaw even amongst them. And here I was lost on whether or not I should tell him about the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. This informant, exactly how knowledgeable are they about the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance?
If you're from public safety, you'd know, wouldn't you? Something like that is something I can't just tell you.
Protect your sources. That was the first principle of dealing with confidential information. In that regard, it seemed that Oishi wasn't one of those monkeys. Should I trust him, ask him for his help, or not?
Is it just that you work for the feds, and I work for the... It's just that you work for the feds, and I work for the prefecture. I don't think that our jobs are that different. I think I can be of help.
However, I had trouble believing that this crafty old man would simply help me just like he claimed. I find it hard to believe that someone of your standings would help me out without strings attached.
Well, it's not like I'm completely without It's not like I'm completely without an ulterior motive. As I recall, you guys have space in your budget allocated to pay informants, right? Something you don't need to submit a receipt for. Just a little bit of that, but pays the cost of meeting with the informant.
In other words, give the compensation earmarked. Give the compensation earmarked for the informant to you first. Well, it helps that the details of this deal are so clear-cut. He certainly was something else for being able to brazenly state his ulterior motives like this. Rather than him doing this out of the kindness of his heart, everything was a lot clearer if he was being compensated for the deal. I felt like he was the type of man who was good at these backroom dealings.
Don't misunderstand me, please. It's not me who needs money, it's the informant, okay? Well, in regards to the payment, I'll be handling the money, no fool.
When do you want it?
Right now would be good. If you don't have it on you, tomorrow works as well.
I pulled out a wallet that was different from my personal one. The price was pretty much fixed depending on what kind of information I was paying for. In this case, the payment was up front. Also considering the fact I didn't know what kind of info I would get, I shouldn't pay too much. When I suggested that, Oishi suddenly stretched out his hand and tightly grasped the contents of the wallet.
At times like this, it's best you not be so stingy. It's alright, it won't go to waste.
I understand. I won't be stingy.
And what kind of information are you looking for? Depending on what you want, how we approach this will probably change.
You swear you won't spread this information to anybody else, Oishi-san?
I can't swear as much. I'm the same as you. I can't withhold information obtained during the course of my duties. No, I got it. I swear, nothing here gets said anywhere else. On top of that, thanks to you, I can pay back what I owe for my mahjong debts. In any case, I won't break a promise that involves money.
Fucking Oishi, man. I was still unsure if I should trust him until the very last moment, but in the end, I broke down. Oishi wasn't the type of guy I could trust 100%, but there's no mistaking he had access to underground information networks. In order to accomplish my mission swiftly, I needed his cooperation. I set my resolve. I'm investigating whether or not the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance is related to a certain incident.
Certain incident?
There's a possibility that the Minister of Construction, Inugai, is being coerced by someone.
Saying there's a possibility is kind of a roundabout way of putting it.
It appears there's a mall close to the Minister. And due to the mall, the Minister had been monitored quite thoroughly and was seemingly forced to cede to their threats right away. None of this was reported to us or the police.
I see. So that's why you're saying there's only a possibility he's being coerced. In that case, isn't it a little strange? If the minister didn't report this to anybody, how did you guys know about this incident?
If we didn't spy on the Minister's private life, we would have never found out. I don't think we have to provide that explanation to the informant, so I'm omitting it. Oishi had apparently caught on and quietly chuckled when I refused to explain.
I see. There's a spy close to the minister, so public safety made it a highly classified investigation. That certainly isn't a very amicable story, is it?
If this matter became public, not only would this affect the minister's political career, but the possibility of there being a shift in the political landscape is extremely high. If the perpetrator's aim is indeed that, then this could develop into a very grave situation.
Well, with the government having development projects all over the country, they've butted heads with quite a few people. It wouldn't take much wrongdoing for the left-wing party to suddenly garner more support.
We're currently investigating what demands are being forced on the minister, but at least we have a good idea of how he's being threatened.
Hell.
The minister's grandson was kidnapped. They're denying it, but judging from when he was last seen, it's believed it's already been over 72 hours since the kidnapping.
So 3 days. If they were just after some ransom money, this would have been settled by now.
It may be this isn't for monetary gain. The possibility that they're forcing the minister to do something political is extremely high. That's something we just can't consent to.
So then, the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance was listed as one of the possible perpetrators.
That is correct.
Kidnap the minister's grandson and demand a cancellation of the dam project.
What do you think, Oishi-san? From your point of view, do you think that that's possible? Oishi seemed to ponder the idea for a while. The section chief at the regional office had responded immediately with, "It's possible." However, Oishi, who was this well informed about the matter, was hemming and hawing. Finally, just a little bit, he said something that was really just a little bit strange.
This was before the Meiji era, you see. This area wasn't named Hinamizawa village back then. It was called Onigafuchi. No, this is just what I thought from my grandmother.
This topic was so completely and suddenly unrelated to the subject of the kidnapping of the minister's grandson that I was slightly taken aback. Onigafuchi? Oh, so that's why they're called the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance.
You see, the village of Onigafuchi was said to be inhabited by demons that devoured humans. Even now, it's believed that the blood of these demons partially courses through the veins of the villagers.
Demons that devour humans? Oishi-san, what are you saying?
It's information. I've got a lot from you just now. A little too much. In exchange, I'm giving you a little freebie.
Oishi finally smiled, but it didn't seem like he was fooling around. Please, continue.
You see, these human-devouring demons. Normally they were manga gamer. They were revealed by Taoist transcendence and lived tucked away from the rest of the world. But they ate people after all, so apparently they go to villages in the foothills regularly and abduct their prey.
Great. I think this is still Oishi. Yeah.
They used to call that being demoned away, or Onigafuchi.
The first game.
What game? What's only Higurashi?
Demon away. It was the first time I heard such a peculiar phrase. However, I felt something slightly ominous from this horrifying tale of demons abducting people in order to eat them.
Look, you know how there's a common phrase, spirited away. When people suddenly go missing one day, they call it that. When the same thing happens around here, they call it being a demon away.
How does that old tale relate to the matters at hand?
Oh no, there's no direct relationship. I'm just making some small talk here. It's just...
The car shook. At some point, the gravel road had changed to a paved one. It's just what?
It's that around here, the phrase demon away is somewhat of a call for disappearances and kidnappings. I just thought I'd mention that. I don't know if this has anything to do with the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Well, there's no deep meaning behind it. It's just that there's a little bit... There's that little bit of Fuck. It's just that there's that little bit of history. No,
Onigafuchi. Ooh, Onigafuchi. No. Onigafuchi.
Onigafuchi.
Yes, sir.
Onigafuchi. Human-eating demons coming down to the foothills and abducting their prey. Then, in order to cancel the dam project that threatened to submerge the village they lived in, did they demon away the minister's grandson? Then, had they already made an example out of the minister's grandson and eaten him alive?
Top text?
Yes.
It's a bit of an interesting old tale, isn't it?
If you set foot in a demon's village without reason, you'll promptly be captured and eaten alive. So don't go near Onigafuchi's. Kids these days wouldn't have these superstitions, would they? Even amongst the older folk in Okinomiya born in the Meiji era, there's quite a few who don't heed these warnings.
Hinamizawa village was feared by the people in the area. I recalled that piece of information I heard from the Prefectural Public Safety Division. In any case, we're out in the boonies out here. It's kind of expected that there would be some superstitions around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you should fuck.
In any case, we're in the boonies out here. It's kind of expected that there'd be some kind of superstitions around. Somebody from Tokyo like you, Akasaka-san, probably couldn't even begin to imagine it, could you?
The man-eating demons, as the price for violating the sanctity of their village, kidnapped the minister's grandson and swallowed him whole. That ludicrous idea flew through my head. It was so absurd, I was half disgusted with myself. Oishi was just teasing me. Stupid. It was all really so stupid. Come to think of it by then, I may have already been seized by the curse of that dubious village. For me to realize that would take a little more time.
Chapter 8.
Very epic. Cool. So we're one down? Oh yeah, because I was in intermission. You got me fucked up. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we got a lot. Fucking kill me.
My
gonna
mojo
stab
got thrown off.
I'm gonna stab you.
I haven't done anything. I'm literally
done all
just.
the
I'm
things.
literally just sitting.
Wait,
here.
what the fuck? How did we get that so fast? That was the.
I guess there's only 4 tips in this game.
We've read all the tips.
There's only. 4
We've already
tips in
read
this
all
game.
the tips.
There are only 4 tips in this game.
This one's all you, buddy.
Oh, fucking god damn it! It's Bruce time.
Oh, really? It's tough when it's such a sudden assignment. Hey, please be careful. Where are you headed? You're already there? Whenever I headed out on an assignment, she would ask where. Not just Yukie, but anyone. But anybody would have asked the same question. It was a cold place, so she would urge me to pack a thick jacket. If it was far, she'd warn me to be careful on the drive over. If it was just normal everyday concern that led to asking such an obvious thing. I felt sad that I couldn't answer such a run-of-the-mill question. Sorry. It's something that you can't talk about, isn't it? Please be careful. Sorry, Yukie. What? At some point, you started apologizing right away. Even though when you first started your job, you were all gung-ho about it. Hee Yukie laughed, as though she had realized something. At times like this, Yukie had the magical power to see right through me. It's already been quite a while since I was admitted to the hospital. Are you finally getting lonely? Don't tease me. I'm too old to get lonely. Oh, really? You actually like to be doted on, don't you? Doted. Don't you start getting a little faint of heart when I'm not around?
His wife is base.
Oh, jeez. I can see the little devil horn sprouting from your head right now. You've always been like this. You can't hide it. You can't hide it. If I don't play with you, you get all lonely. I can hear your tail wagging over the phone.
Dude, Yukie is based.
Petition for Yukie is the best character in the game. This side of Yukie wasn't something you could guess existed from seeing her usual modest behavior, and it was something that she didn't show to anybody else but me. Normally I'd poke her to hide my embarrassment and bring it into the conversation, but I couldn't do that over the phone. Of course, Yukie was clever. She was teasing me because of that. I wondered when I figured that giving you grief was always this... I wonder when I figured out that giving you grief was always this much fun. Give me a break. In any case, it's good to hear you so lively. I know, right? Did I cheer you up? I had called Yukie to keep her from feeling lonely when she was by herself in the hospital room. Of course, that was nothing more than a pretense that I, being shy, had come up with. It seemed that Yukie had long since seen through the act. Yeah. Please phone again. When I'm not feeling up to it, I'll get my father to talk with you. Although, if you're talking with my father, I get the feeling that you'd be standing at attention on the other side of the line. For a while longer, Yukie kept teasing me without letting me in the call.
Ryukishi wrote an e-girl before like they existed.
E-girl. How's that like an e-girl?
Ryukishi wrote an e-girl, dude.
Ryukishi invented e-girls, apparently, guys.
Ryukishi did invent
This is
e-girl.
according to Connor.
Huh. It appears my chair is broken. Shalom.
Why do you keep breaking things?
I fucking, I just was sitting here, and then it just quit working. It's not my fault.
Record of opening remarks.
More like record of D's.
That's
No, just D's.
Chairman Blank. Members of the Blank Party.
I got you on the button.
Congratulations are due, as we are celebrating 25 years since our founding. These past 25 years have seen much growth in the X Prefecture. The once quiet scenery of nothing but fields now has seen the opening of a new stop for the bullet train. And with the development of the highway, we've seen the rebirth of a modern city bursting with youthful energy. We've reaped the benefits of new businesses and industry, and with the special reverence that the residents of X Prefecture have for time-honored traditions, history and culture, business and industry, And these ideals in harmony they have accomplished in growing their city into one of Japan's foremost metropolises. Of course, the development of X Prefecture couldn't have happened without the growth of X Party. We are resolved to see every one of our campaign promises to... We are resolved to see every one of our campaign promises to fruition. Reaching our targets definitely and expediently, like arrows fired from a bow. With these arrows as fuck, sorry.
He's tweaking.
Why'd Siri record all of that?
Xbox, record that.
Sorry, this is making me think of a joke, and it's really stupid.
He's thinking of a silly little gag. He's thinking of a little goof. Maybe even a little dubious, humorous little haha, you know?
God damn it, why can't I not get past that? With these arrows as a fundamental basis of the X Party, our members have sought to pierce the
Yeah?
It's about this chapter. It's the fucking Jokrono. When Jokrono read this, he replaced every other word with bullet. Because, so the joke, I'm gonna cut this. The joke is, like arrows fired from a bow. And he's just like, as opposed to like fired from a gun. And he just goes on. It's the other guy, not Jokrono himself, but the other guy, with the bullets as the fundamental bullet basis of the bullet party, our members have sought to bullet pierce the obstruction of bullets preventing the happiness of the residents of Bullet Prefecture. Just like, Christ. I can't get it out of my head.
No, that's fair. This is something valid to be laughing at. I'll give you this. This is fair.
I'm not repeating. I'm trying to keep our jokes original, so I'm not repeating the Jokrono jokes. You have no idea how hard that is. It's actually impossible.
Hey, but we have the Keiichi Brown note.
But the fucking...
We have the go-to joke.
You don't understand. The fucking Bruce Willis, everybody's Bruce Willis outside of Hinamizawa joke is stolen from... But it's with Oishi on theirs.
Oh!
Because every cop, we just read as Oishi.
Do they just do the Oishi?
And then when they went there, they was like, they're all Oishi. Just read them all as Oishi. And it was like, Akasaka's there with an Oishi mask.
Yeah, but we got there organically.
Exactly, that's...
We got there organically as everyone is Bruce Willis.
I'm satisfied with how we got there. It was just wild that it happened again.
But that tells you about Ryukishi's writing. There's something about specifically two people playing the game together where they hit this point of the game where they're like, everyone is one character outside of Hinamizawa.
It's because he doesn't give him, like, sprays.
Yeah. Alright, you got it. Just don't think of a bullet.
Shut the fuck I'll show you the clip after this.
You're an actor, you know? You're an actor. Professional.
I'm a professional.
Yes, sir.
With these arrows at the fundamental basis of the X Party, our members have sought to pierce the obstructions preventing the happiness of the residents of X Prefecture. But I do believe that everybody here is unlike an ordinary arrow. While being as unfaltering and straightforward... You haven't even heard it, so...
I'm thinking about it, because you have me on it now, so as you're reading, I'm just like, but I do believe that everybody bullet is here, unlike bullet, an ordinary bullet.
While being as unfaltering and straightforward, we have not neglected in seeking solutions that conform to our current day and age, while also keeping an eye on the future. An arrow, once loose, can fly to its destination. Everyone here, however, is no simple arrow. Even once loose from the bow without neglecting our studies, while employing new methods and implementing more effective and flexible ideas, thus being able to change trajectories mid-flight, we are magical arrows. The modern age marches ever forward. Sometimes it marches faster than the time taken from planning to execution. The following part was not in the script. It is thought to have been ad-libbed by the minister. For example, there have recently been numerous problems with the Hinamizawa power plant project. Say that 5 times fast.
The Hinamizawa power plant project.
Rather than forcing through the project solely because it was decided upon by the government, it is necessary to reflect on and adjust to the ever-changing needs of its residents, the region, and the next generation. The protests by the local residents that surround the Hinamizawa Dam, these are also the will of the people of X Prefecture. This is technically your character, but oh well. If you feel that there is no need to listen because the project has already been finalized, then you do nothing more than shed a poor light on Japan's post-war democracy.
Who is this?
It's the Minister of Construction.
Oh yeah, the minister, Doug Demidome. Doug Demidome, Dimsdale Demidome. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The following is as per the script. For the lasting happiness of the citizens of Japan and the residents of X Prefecture, please consider these policies thoroughly. I believe, however, we have all gained something from the flexibility and foresight of the X Party. I have taken up as much of your time. Oh. However, allow me to say the following to celebrate the 25th anniversary as our following. Chairman X, members of the X Party in attendance, thank you very much for today. From the opening remarks of the X Party Prefectural Forum and the 25th anniversary celebration.
Billy? Out of the Markiplier video. Bullet gun.
Bullet gun. Bullet gun.
Bullet prefecture.
Gears and fire and the taste of honey. That was assigned to no more bullets.
He's turned the bullets.
New song.
Nice piano song.
It's more like a music box song.
Nice 19th century Victorian child sobbing in her tower dungeon bedroom music box song.
I almost expected to say bullet. This is gonna be a hard one. That's gonna be hard.
This sounds like something Frederica would listen to.
Frederica Berncastel.
Mm-hmm. I don't know
shit! That's
about...
right. I have to see my new voice here. I didn't practice it at all.
I don't know anything about Umineko, but this sounds like a song that would be in Umineko. Well, do you already have it prepped?
I've practiced it before,
okay.
But like,
I gotta see what my mom said.
She's sent you a hoodie pic.
Did she?
The hoodie?
She literally, that's exactly.
You jelly?
That's exactly what she fucking sent me. Did you like see that image, or did you just make an assumption?
I saw a hoodie. It's like the hoodie pic.
This chapter has been a nightmare.
Okay.
Show me when you're in.
Actor. I actually have to actor this.
He's got to focus.
The world is filled. It's just wrong already. The world is filled with people blessed with relationships. Of course, that doesn't mean everyone is connected to each other. It's obvious that on the other side of the planet, there are people lying, laughing, and crying who can't possibly have an effect on you. However, in that extremely limited community of the neighborhood, that sort of connection is just a matter of fact. It's quite possible that a single remarkable event could have massive consequences inside a small community. If you were to increase that in scale, a perfect stranger on the other side of the globe might become enough of a legend to have an effect on our lives. Well, it's not always that way. Like I said at the beginning, the links between people aren't that relevant in the grand scheme of things. Whether some households nearby is having steak or croquettes doesn't matter to me. When I put on my shoes, it doesn't matter to anybody whether I put the right one on first or the left. This much the average person can understand. But actually, in reality, this is the truth. The bonds between people are quite well defined. It's not just a matter of distance, of being far or near. For example, let's say that person A's actions have some effect on me. Even then, person B's actions could have absolutely no consequence on my life. The reverse also holds true. Just because my actions affect person A, that doesn't always mean that they affect person B as well. Let's put it bluntly. If the bonds between people are like gears in a machine, the gear that represents me meshes with some people but is isolated from others. There are some who would try arguing against this, those who would bring up the example of gears in a clock. Each gear indeed only directly meshes with one or two others. However, if you rotate one gear, the other the one next to it is moved, which connects to the next one and the next. In the end, all the gears are moving. There is a logic behind this, more than enough to convince the average person. Why is the argument convincing? The answer is simple. The relationships between people are ambiguous and can only be described conceptually. How the gears are connected and how their movements are chained together can't be used as the fundamental explanation, so it throws a wet blanket on that argument. So for the people who like that explanation, I'll use the example of a clock again, but to refute it. First of all, to say that this world is a singular clock would be wrong. That is, there isn't only one clock. There exist many clocks in this world, each counting their own time. If you think about it, the idea that this world is just one big clock is the height of arrogance. Even if you use the analogy of gears to explain human relationships, then you should be able to explain it using an analogy of multiple clocks unrelated to a single gear. Neighbors A and B. A is a gear on the same clock as me, so it's best to remain civil. B is a gear in a different clock, so he doesn't really matter to me at all. That's the kind of clear distinction I'm talking about. You want to say I'm being fallacious? Is that how you say that? Fallacious? I think so.
We'll go yes.
Then let's change the analogy to something more familiar so you can understand. You've probably heard the phrase, a fire in the opposite shore, sometime in your life, no? For example, if your neighbor's house was on fire, you'd probably try to help put it out, wouldn't you? It'd be awful if the fire spread and burned down your own house, after all. But what if the fire was in a town on the opposite side of a river? Would you still go out of your way to help? You wouldn't, would you? Even though it would be the wrong thing to do, there's no way the fire could spread to your own house. Even if it turned into a huge conflagration, there's no relation between the houses that will spread fire to yours and those that won't. With this basic example, you should be able to see the differences between gears that are and aren't related to your own. Having said that, there's still a lot to think about, even without a river to divide it. After all, it's not a spatial problem like being on the other side of a river, is it?
What?
That was, Gears and Fire and the Taste of Honey.
You mean the schizophrenic rambling of a maiden trapped in her Victorian-era bedroom with her music box?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts you got on that one, buddy?
It was English.
It was English. It was translated into English, yes.
Yeah, I understood all of that as English. I understood, like, the analogy. Don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Okay.
Rika time traveler.
The chick in the trunk.
Me?
Are you a chick?
Yeah. Tomatake?
The car had stopped, but he didn't know any more than that. For not only was he blindfolded, but locked in the trunk of the car.
Oh, it's the kid.
How could people become this powerless just by being robbed of their sight? He absolutely wouldn't have known this without experiencing it firsthand. He soon realized it was pointless to try and undo his bonds, with the confines of the trunk quickly making him lightheaded. He had no other choice but to let this mild torture dull his senses. That's why, when the car stopped and the unpleasant vibration ceased as the engine was killed, he couldn't help but delude himself that he was being set free, even though nothing had been resolved in reality. Of course, he was soon removed from that delusion. He strained his ears when he heard one of the men who had abducted him, and an older man he was hearing for the first time strike up a conversation. Nice to see you. The chick is in the trunk. He struggled so much that he's probably exhausted right now. But there's not a mark on him, just as ordered.
Oh, must have been a handful. Yeah?
The trunk opened, letting in a blast of fresh, cool air. Even though up until now he had been thinking about getting out of the stuffy trunk, when it was actually opened, he smiled. He suddenly became uneasy. Enough so that he wished that the lid of the trunk would once again close, separating himself from them. Suddenly, somebody stroked his head. Of course, he was blindfolded. He couldn't tell if the hand was petting him or simply evaluating how easy it would be to remove his scalp. Unable to tell the difference, he could only freeze as he imagined the worst-case scenario.
Old man? Poor little bugger. He's shaking. Just stay calm for a bit.
The older man said that kindly as he gently stroked the boy's head. This
must be real tough for you. But you see, your Gramps is a nice man. He'll help you soon enough.
Having heard nothing but the average standard dialect his whole life, the older man's distinct intonation left a deep impression on the boy. But he had no idea what he was saying. For your Gramps to register as meaning your grandfather took a while to process.
My mango.
My mango! Eventually, the hand that was stroking his head loosened the blindfold. Can't keep his eyes covered. If he splits his face, open it'd be bad.
And with that, we might as well take out a gag. He can't breathe like that.
It'll be trouble if he yells. Leave him to us.
Jeez, you guys don't know how to treat somebody. The main family said no rough stuff. You better remember that well.
Yeah, we won't do anything stupid, as long as the kid cooperates, that is. The man's hand prodded roughly and repeatedly at the boy's head. A rugged hand, unlike the affectionate one that had been stroking his head before. Just stay cooperative. If you struggle, there's no guarantee what will happen. That cliched threat was literally beaten into his head.
The old man is a pedophile.
An Australian.
My Australian grandpa very gently and seductively petting a child's head in the trunk.
The chick's in the trunk.
That chick is in the trunk of... He's gonna break your ground harness. End the episode.